Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day. So I hope everyone is still intact and good and can focus for this is I think this is a last video for the soil classification, inshallah. So now we want to discuss H2. Just now we already discussed the USCS. So similar like USCS, H2 also use the US standard for the soil particle size. So we still looking for the number 4 and number 200 results. Okay, compared to the USCS for H2, uh, in USCS we took 50% as a barrier. If more than 50% passing number 200 is a clay and silt. But now, if more than 35, which means 36 and above, passing number 200, it is classified as a silt and clay materials. And the class that we want to use to classify them is A4 up to A7. And in the opposite, if the soil passing less than 35% or equal to 35, so it is classified as a granular material, which is fall under either A1, A2 or A3 group. So in this H2, we have 8 major groups, which is A1 up to A7, and also organic soil for A8. And similarly, we will use sieve analysis results and also the ultimate limits results to classify the soil. And initially, this classification system for soil is used for road construction, and they also have new terms, which is a group index. So this group index is introduced to help identify either the soil is good for road foundation, road embankment or not. So what we use is we need to know the percent passing that through the number 200 sieve, and we need to have a liquid limit results and also the plastic index results. So for special case A26 and A27, the GI only use the second term of the equation to calculate the GI. Okay, and usually the GI is in the round of value, not a point form. Okay, so this is how the table of the H2 looks like. As you can see here, 35% or less passing number 200, so it is either A1, A2 or A3. And usually for A1, A2, A3 is a excellent to good to become a subgrade of the road embankment. And the extension of the graph of the table is the silty clay materials, which has more than 30% of sample passing number 200, and they can be divided either A4, A5, A6 and A7, A75 or A76. And they usually have a fair to poor condition of the subgrade. Okay, how we want to use this table or how we want to classify the H2 soil. So any results that we have from the sieve and also from the ultimate limit test, we need to fit in them from the left here to the right. So means from the A1 continue until the A7. So the one that fit the fit the table is the correct H2 classification. The one data that we got from the ultimate limit from the sieve test that fit all together the table of H2 is become the soil type. Okay, so let's see an example. So let's say we have a results from the our laboratory test. Passing number 200 is 86% with the LL 70 and PI 32. So from the graph, of course, when we know passing number 200 is 80%, of course it is automatic A4 to A7 to be choose. Okay, passing number 200. So either 36, 30. So we read for number 200 here. So the capping is 36 minimum. So we got 86. Of course, every classes is qualified to be choose. So when we know about that, we go down. So we check for the liquid limit. So liquid limit we have is 70%. So 70. So A4 capping at 40. So already disqualified. Cannot. Similarly A6 cannot. 41 for A5 and 41 minimum for A7. So these two groups might be the one that fit with the data. So let's check for plasticity index PI. So as we know, we got PI is 32. So that's why, this one already out. Either A5 or A7 actually. So this one is up. So only A7 is a good term with the data. So check for A75 or A76. So A75 is the condition with the PI is much more smaller compared to LL minus 30. So we can calculate LL is 70 minus 30, so we got 40. 40 is bigger than 32, so that's why it fit in with the A75 condition. So after knowing the soil is fall under A75, so it is fair to pull. How to check? Next is to calculate the group index. So just take the 86 here, 70 and 32. So we get the 33 for GI. So round off the value of GI. So we know that the higher the GI is, the poorer the soil to become a road embankment. Okay. So we can write down the classification for this soil is A75 in bracket 33 following the H2 soil type. Okay, for the reference, you can also refer to these books. And I think that's all for the soil classification. So later on, we will continue in the class. If you have any questions, you may also post your question in this YouTube, or you want to use any other term, any other field to us also can. So I think that's all for the soil classification. For the wrap up, we have two systems. For classification, we have two major laboratory testing, Atterberg limit and also sieve. And not to forget, we have soil identification method to define the soil in the field. So I think that's all for this chapter. See you again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.